So welcome to the Brantley Bank Coaches Show, hosted by Vaughn Forest Church, where we talk all things Pike Road Patriots football with head football coach Ed Rigby. My name is Adam Bishop. I'm the pastor here at Vaughn Forest Church and the host of our Brantley Bank Coaches Show. So, Coach, thanks for being here with us today.
Adam, thank you so much for having me, brother.
Yes, sir.
And I always wanted to be on a podcast, and I finally get to do it. This is awesome. And but I appreciate y'all having us. I want to start out of the blocks with, I appreciate everything Vaughn Forest. And again, I'm new. I mean, my first day was June 1. But what I've heard from graduation to all the things where Vaughn Forest steps in and feeds teachers and things, I appreciate y'all and everything that y'all do. That's a true community service. That's a true servant's heart. You know, and I know other churches are involved, so I'm not trying to alienate anybody, but I'm here now and want to tell you thanks for all that you do, because, you know, it's like anything in life, your reputation precedes you, and the reputation of the church and what y'all do for the community precedes y'all. But before I'd ever step foot on this property, that's all I'd heard about y'all, was they do this and they do that and they do this. Oh, they're awesome, from every different direction, not just teachers and principals and stuff, but from people, you know, parents and stuff that don't even go here. So your reputation, this church's reputation, it precedes itself, and I just want to thank you for that.
I appreciate you saying that, Coach. I tell people all the time, what makes this church great are the people.
Exactly.
And so many of the people who call Vaughn Forest home call the community of Pike Road their home as well.
Yeah.
So it's an honor for us to get to serve the schools, the students, the coaches. Mm-hmm. So we're glad to do it, honored to do it, and glad we get to spend some time with you today. Now, Coach, this is your first year with Pike Road, 31 years of coaching experience that you bring to the table. We're going to talk all about Friday night here in a moment. Excited to do that. But for a lot of the Patriot Nation, this is really their first opportunity to get to know you. So maybe before we talk a little about football, tell us a little bit about yourself, your wife, kids, maybe some fun things outside of football that'd be good to know about you.
I tell you what, now, you know, I can talk now. We'll try to limit it. Let's see, this is my, I've done this 30 years, and my background's really eclectic. And my wife taught me that word years ago when she was an English teacher, and I've used it a lot. Makes me sound maybe a little more intelligent. But the big end of it, done it a while, done it all over the place, and I'll kind of brush through that, but been married also for 30 years to my wife, Shanda Rigby.
That's awesome.
She's the head basketball coach at Troy University. She's been very successful throughout her career. She is a very godly, praying person, Bible reader person. She would have to be to put up with me and my two boys. And, but you know, to say that whether it's 4:30 or 5 or 5:30, whatever it is, she's an actual lay it out on a table with all the notebooks where she takes notes. It drives me crazy, the amount of notebooks around. It's all the time. These notebooks are stashed everywhere. I'm like, could you get rid of some of this stuff? I'm like, no, that was from 4 years ago, and that was what, and she'll open up, and it was like things, you know, she was going through, the boys were going through stuff of all these years ago, and can just pull this stuff out. But very godly lady, and she's been very, very successful in her career. And but we have two boys, Ramsey, who's 25, Randon, who's 23, and both of them have their own tales and own stories. But you know, I mean, our life has kind of been coaching, and for these last 30 plus years. Started off in Louisiana, and as an assistant, and when I moved there, I met my wife, and we ended up getting married at the end of that school year. We moved to Mississippi and took jobs. It was her first head job, and that was in 91 as a head coach. That's what we went for, and kind of filtered from there to another school in Mississippi I did, and ended up in 1994, my first high school head coaching job. And, you know, everything has a story. When you go in and to talk to somebody about a job, just weirdly, I heard about this, it was on spring break. We're down there in Louisiana visiting her relatives, and somebody had told me, hey, the job over at this high school called Albany's open. You want to be head coach when I was like 25. You want to be head coach when you ought to go talk to him. I'm like, well, I'll stop by. I stopped by. Principal is sitting there. They weren't on spring break. It was after school, sitting there by himself. And I went and talked to him, and you know, times were different back then. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't all this school board stuff and all this kind of how you do things now. And we talked, and he said, well, no one's applied for this job. Do you want it? And I'm like, well, that's your first red flag. Okay, Adam,
right,
when no one else applied, there's a reason.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a reason. But anyway, end up with this job and hit it at the right time. Was able to get some basketball kids out and had success. And that shot me into the next job, which was at Laranja High School as a head coach. Shanda had won a state championship, her first one, like on a Saturday, and they hired me like on Tuesday night.
Wow.
Thinking, she did it, he'll do it too. Well, it wasn't as easy. And, the football wasn't as easy, but we ended up being very, very successful there. And she'd always wanted to be a college coach. And this kind of led us to where we are today.
Okay.
She got a master's degree. We'd met somebody at Black Mountain at the FCA camp at Black Mountain. And it's in the not middle of summer, early summer in like 2000, like in June, got a call from this small Christian college named Tabor in Kansas. And they're like, hey, we'd like to talk to you about this job. So we go out there and meet with them, and we moved them 2 little babies, and we moved to Kansas for $19,000 a year. And that's when people come to me with, we're just not making money. I'm like, yeah, you don't even know.
That's right.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And it was a faith thing of this is where she wanted to be. And weirdly, like for me, it's an exact moment in time where they didn't have an offensive coordinator. I've been a head coach at high school and was able to kind of filter into that. And then a job came open. Want to get back close to family. I'm from Pensacola. She's from down in Louisiana. Want to kind of get back close to family. And what ended up happening, a Mississippi JUCO job came open in women's basketball. We show up, and it's just about the same time. All of a sudden, they had just let their offensive coordinator go. It's just these weird,
Wow.
God kind of works these weird things.
He does.
I end up at Jackson State University through someone through FCA that I'd met as their offensive coordinator. She was still there. Then she took a job in Pensacola at Pensacola State. And I ended up going down there. I show up, don't have a job. I'm finishing coaching D1 as an offensive coordinator. And my old high school, they just let their head coach go. And these doors just kind of weirdly
Wow.
keep opening. And so, we're there for a while. And 10 years ago, 11 now, working on 11, she always wanted to be at D1 level. So again, I'm talking a lot about her, but it kind of set up the next thing for
Right.
me. Job at Troy comes open. She gets the job. And we show up, these 2 boys. All of a sudden, Elba's looking for a football coach, a year removed from a state championship. And, we kind of, God opens the door, stumble into it. And, we had 2, what was real successful the whole time. But my one son, my oldest, started for me all 4 years there and was the MVP of the state. And quarterback.
And that's where you won the state championship.
Yes. We
right.
played for 2. We lost 1 and came back and redeemed it the next year.
That's awesome.
And then, was kind of in one of those things of, turning 50. And I'm like, I can win here forever. I want a challenge. And all of a sudden, the Eufaula job comes open. And what was weird about it, Eufaula was a 5A high school that because of the way that they had turned in numbers, and this public records, nothing I'm talking about, but that I shouldn't, but they counted their virtual kids, some of them, and it ended up putting them up in 6A. And so you have this 5A high school playing schools with double their enrollment. And it was a challenge. And I met Dr. Davis, who lives here now. Her kids go to school. Her son's in the program. And her daughter plays volleyball. Met Dr. Davis, and she's like, like your enthusiasm, this is going to be a challenge. Come on. And it was. And it was awesome. We were always outnumbered. We were always smaller, always this. But we made the playoffs every year. We pushed with runs in it. And it was awesome, man. It was an overachiever. It was a Cinderella story for 4
great.
years. And then the Pike Road situation came open. And in looking at it, again, which Eufaula's dropping back down in 5A, they got a chance to win it. It's set up really nicely, because we returned basically everybody off last year's
Right.
team. And we already set up a game with Pike Road, and so that was really weird. But the thing was, it was a challenge. In the coaching world, and I know we haven't hit our script yet, but we got, looks like time.
We're good.
In the coaching world, as a head coach, you get to a point in your career after doing it so long and so many years as a high school head coach that when you get to this point, which I'm only 54, so I have a long, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to stretch this thing and be one of these guys. If I'm relevant and it's still relevant in the game and still can help and bring something to the table, I want to do the 40. I want to be just, has pushed these limits. And there's a lot of those guys out there, Terry Curtis, UMS Wright. I mean, there's Steve Mass, Bell City, that are out there that have been doing it like that. And I admire those guys and the lives they have touched throughout this. But the thing about the Pike Road deal, you're coming off a state championship. You're not going to attract a certain group of coaches with that job. Not because it's a bad job, but there's only one way to go from a state championship. There's 2 ways. You either win another one or you're going backwards.
Right.
And the jump from 5A to 6A is a apple and an orange jump. And with that being said, your pool is not as big as what's going to chase that. But the one thing that I've kind of come back to was the challenge deal, and my career's always kind of fell on that, the underdog story.
Mm-hmm.
And even coming off a 5A state championship, and we're very talented in some areas, it's an underdog story because you're right there at the bottom of being the smallest.
That's right.
And I'm used to being not even in it, but having to play it. You're an underdog story. And that's just been kind of the story of my career, of being at the place where there's something kind of stacked against you. And what's stacked against you is it's uncharted territory. You're a school that 4 years ago was a 3A, 2 years ago was a 5A. Now you're 4 years later, you're from 3 to 6.
Wow.
There's growing pains in that. That's not a perfect world. And you've won a state championship. Where are you going to go in 6A?
And I love how you describe your story that got you here. And there's really an intersection with the story that Pike Road has been living with this football program.
Yes.
As we step from 5A into 6A, a new challenge, a new day, and really some new opportunities because, Coach, there was a lot of contributors to that team last year. They've moved on, and they're playing at a high level in college, whether it's Iverson Hooks or Keyshawn Judkins or Curtis Perry.
Is
it a next man up mentality with this team?
It's a true next man up mentality. And that's, kind of been the mentality, that I've developed over the years. Hey, next guy up. Because before there was a Curtis Perry, which I could say this is a school that had 30 years of football or 80 years of football. There's going to be the next Curtis Perry, the next Iverson Hooks. Mm-hmm. There's the next guy coming. And I would say there's been ones before, but the school's only 7 years old.
Right.
And so you can't really say it. But there'll be the next one. Who is the next one? That's what you're looking for. And a program, a successful high school program, is really not built off those guys per se. It's built off all the guys who aren't Division I football players, that aren't Division II football players. They're going to play high school, and that's going to be it. The programs really, all programs are built off of those guys. And you get your upper echelon of your Thompsons and people like that, where people flood in and move there.
But isn't that what makes football so great? Because those young men contributed at the same way. They have that for the rest of their life.
The rest of their life, they're part of the process. Yeah. And times have changed. There's so much to do besides play high. But to put on a helmet, go out on that turf. Monday, it was 97 with a field like of 108. Add 10 to 12 for the turf, at 3:30 in the afternoon. And our trainers are very much on top of all the, this is exactly, look at the fun, and we need this and that, and, for safety. But there's a lot more you could do than do that. But the kids who have decided to do it, by gosh, there's something special about it. And here's the crazy thing. We have about 38 kids, and this is a growing pain problem. We have about 38 kids more than they had last year, 9 through 12.
That's fantastic.
That's wonderful. It's a growing pain problem because once I get there and realize, well, we don't have enough jerseys to match. They got 5 sets. They got Jordan jerseys. I mean, they got 5 sets.
We got some sweet uniforms.
Sweet. Yeah. But all of a sudden, wait a minute. We've got this many kids. All right, let's call Nike. Let's call it. Oh, you won't make another uniform till December, even take an order?
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy. All right, helmets. Same thing. Oh, wait a minute. You won't take an order till December because you're so far. Rydell, you want to? So we've got some growing pains of the modern 21st century growing high school football program. But those are good problems. The real problem would be we have all this gear and we don't have kids.
We don't have any. Yeah, that's right.
We don't have any kids.
That's right.
The middle school program, we're bumping on like 67 kids, 7th and 8th, to the point where we really next year need to have 7th and 8th grade program.
That's great.
Because there's so many kids out there, and you can only play so many kids in an 8-minute game. I mean, but they're out there. The interest level, what they've done with the youth league there is not. It's insane how many kids are in the pro. It's like, I don't want to say a number because I'm going to be wrong. People are like, that guy's a liar. But let's put it this way. It's like an army out there. There's bodies, and they're not even practicing just there. Half of them are practicing over at the elementary school. That's right. It is insane the amount of people involved in football here. That's the kind of place, and that's what was attractive to me, not just the challenge, but this school is on a rise. The school, the sports, the everything. I'm hitting it at a moment on a rise, and I wanted to be part of that rise and do what I could do to bring to the table to be part of a rise and keep that rise going at the highest level. Because reality is 4 years from now, we're going to be 7-8 high school. People may not want to hear it. That's what reality is going to be. As they build all these new homes and do all these things, this program is going to explode and be huge. And we're going to have many problems because of it. Not real problems, but problems in the football world of facilities and this and that and weight room. But when you get your numbers so big, and it'll all be dealt with as it comes. But I want to be part of that rise.
And Coach, it sounds like in a very short amount of time, you have very much gotten a feel for the ethos of Pike Road, this football program, all things. It's so exciting to hear you describe those things. And as we get ready for Friday night, game one, Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, we talked about some of the talent that's moved on, but you've got some good players coming back. I mean, does the conversation start with Anthony Rogers? Coach, I'd never seen a freshman running back play like that last season.
It's one of these things where, here's a weird side note. I coached his uncle.
Okay.
I was head coach at Tate in Pensacola.
What a great connection.
And his grandfather was my team chaplain and also worked at the school as a mental health specialist.
Wow.
And so I not knowing, when it was weird because the first time I ever came to talk to the guys, that night I called a few of the players just, hey, it was great to meet you today. And I called him, first words out of his mouth, you coach my uncle. So I start thinking Eufaula, Elba. I don't put all this together in Pensacola. And his grandfather lives, his grandfather and my mom live on, my mom's an 85-year-old widow. They live on the same road.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was crazy. But the thing about him, he's special. His gear is special. He runs with the exact same style Lorenzo, his uncle, ran. The difference is the speed. He has world-class speed. I mean, he just competed in the AAU Junior Olympics, as a freshman, going to be a sophomore. And that's not normal.
That's right.
It's world-class speed, runs with low pad level, great grades. And again, has committable offers from Alabama and all these big dogs. And, but that's special. On the offensive line, Vice and Lane, Brendan Arrington, those are two returners. These guys are getting recruited by a lot of folks. And, we've had a kid who lived in the school district already, who was going to another school that now is with us. And Brandon Tormey, who's a 6'7" tight end / wide receiver that can split out and run routes like anybody, who has multiple offers and is not even put on a helmet for us yet in a real game. Multiple offers at Division I level. Defensively, Jalen Jarrett, we know him as Buki, is kind of the anchor, the cement of that whole thing, and makes it go. The first time we put on shoulder pads, Adam, the very first time, we ran a speed sweep. So we're handing the ball and we're getting wide as can be. Like I tell them, circle every human wearing a jersey on the field, try to get around them. We were staying wasting up because we were in shells. But when he hit him out there past the numbers on the line of scrimmage, luckily he laid off or we'd have had to call the ambulance. Okay, praise the Lord for that. But when I saw it, I turned around and said to our line coach, Mike Atkins, I'm like, that's the best high school D lineman I've ever seen, like me be on the field with them.
Wow.
That's high praise. I've never seen that. And he will anchor, the defense. You got Shamar Powell, who's back, who played a lot, who's a bunch of offer guy. I mean, he's a Division I football player. Malik Blockton, is out there. And there's some other guys that are not offer guys right now. Josh Hurst and guys who are subbing in with them or pushing them for playing time, who aren't the big-time guys, with all this. But doggone, they're just good high school football players. You got some guys back. Brendan Jordan, at outside linebacker, number 19 from last year. Vicious tackler. Hurts people when he tackles them. Max Seaman on the inside, starter from last year, started every game. A lot of those kids are back. And what we've had to do is find and fill in. And offensively, it started, kind of with the quarterback position, because they attempted 68 passes last year. You're not going to be able to win 6A running the ball every down. You're going to run into somebody who can put bodies up there, and they can get enough bodies in the box. You're going to trip on somebody.
You got to be versatile.
You got to be versatile. You got to be able to open up and throw the forward pass. You have to complete every forward pass, but you got to have the attempt, and you got to keep people out of the box. Right. And so, with that being said, that was a big point of emphasis. And there's going to be some new people out there who haven't been starters but have played in games, or maybe totally new to it. Played JV last year, and I'm excited. We're opening up, and you already mentioned it. It's on your notes.
Hillcrest Tuscaloosa, coach, they played in the semifinals, 6A last year.
Semifinals.
This is not the shallow end of the pool to get it started.
Here's the deal. The schedule, okay? The schedule is one that's set up that the first game is and people will you say that. I'm not taking away from anybody. What reality. The Hillcrest Tuscaloosa will be the best high school football team of talent and depth that Pike Road has ever played. I'm not taking away from anybody they've beaten or anything. This at that level, they're at the highest level of 6A. It's different. It's different. And what's different is, and I explain this, when you're playing a lot of 5As, you run a team has a dude every week or every other week. When you get into 6A, everybody's got 2 or 3 of those dudes every week. And this is a team with 6, 7 dudes like we got 6, 7 dudes who's played already in that level. That's and been in that stuff. And it's going to be I said it the other day at practice, and everybody's looking at each other, and one of the coaches said, explain that, please. We're going to check our oil. We're going to check the dipstick, check the oil, and everybody's looking at each other, and, okay, you got a car, guys. You get the oil, and go, oh, your dipstick. We're going to get our oil checked right out of the hole. New style of offense, new style of defense, new players in position, new staff, all kind of, little technical things you got to work out. For that first game, and we're playing a seasoned veteran in 6A with a coach who's won 2 state championships himself, and in Mississippi, retired over there and just came over, Coach Mitchell. And so this is going to be a war, but it's a good war because, number one, it's not a region game. We're having to go on the road, get on some buses, take a trip, play somebody at the highest level we're going to see in this class that it could run right back to us and them to go to the state championship.
Right.
And that's what I've been telling our kids. It's going to wrap back. This is going to be our dipstick gauge, but it's going to wrap back to us and them. Wait and see what I tell you. Us and them. So this is a great gauge right out of the hole. Then we're going to come back, not looking ahead, because all that matters is tomorrow. But this is an interesting, weird story. That the previous coach had scheduled a team from Miami, Dade Christian, whatever. And it's one of those pay to play. SEC pays Wofford to come play Auburn.
Right.
Auburn plays kind of one of those deals. And I'm not into that. I'm into, let's play Hoover, let's play Tom, let's see where we're at. We did it even at Central Phoenix City and Auburn and all them, let's see where we're at. And this is going to help us down the road in playoffs. Well, that they backed out on us, put us in a scramble. Well, remember, it's like going to the job and talking to the principal, him going, nobody applied. It ought to be a red flag. Well, there are a handful of schools who only have 9 football games. I'm doing 9 like this. 9. I can count.
That's right.
And but there are a handful of schools. Well, there's a reason, because they couldn't fill their schedule because they're good. So we got a game next Friday at home, because it's going to be a home game, against Marist. It's a Catholic school out of northern Atlanta.
I grew up in Atlanta, so I'm very familiar with Marist.
Yeah, $29,000 a year to go there. Yeah. Okay, found that out on Google. Could be more, could be less. I don't know. And but tradition, one state year before last. They're winning 10+ every year, and they've been 4A, but they're up in 6A with the competitive stuff of how they move schools up when you've won so much. And let me tell you what. They're under center, flex bone, like Navy on them. Something we'll never see the rest of the year.
Wow.
You got to get ready for this one game. And it's funny because Troy's playing Army. I see it on schedule. I'm like, which their coaches really didn't make the schedule. It was already kind of pre-made. The new coaches, Coach Summerall. And I'm like, why in the heck would they play them? What a waste of time. You're never going to see that. You take a chance getting beat by them because you're not used to it. And then we're doing the same thing. I'm sure people are going, why is he playing them? We're never going to see that. Blah, blah. But what's it going to do again? Put that dipstick, we're going to check it.
Right.
Because the next week, we're playing for keeps. All these for keeps because we're playing.
Right.
But it's Wetumpka at our place. What matters to me is this. Getting as better as the season goes weekly. Winning enough games, getting the playoffs. Once you've conquered that, then win enough games to win your region. You conquer that. having a home game first round and making it to week 11. Everything is about week 11, being prepared for week 11, because week 11 is the playoffs when everything's 0-0. And I've seen the 4 and 16 play for a state championship. I've actually seen it twice. And those things happen. We're not going to be 4 and 6, Lord willing. We're not going to be. We're going to be very successful, win a bunch of ball games this year. But to me, it's kind of a process thing. It'd be different. I've been here a couple years, but we haven't. The staff hasn't been together like that, and some kids in new positions that are they're going to have some growing pains early, and that's part of it. And when I was younger, I didn't understand that stuff. As I've gotten older and done it so long, I'm like, okay, it's part of this. Just calm down, Ed, and shut your mouth.
And that process starts Sunday night in Tuscaloosa, Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, on the road. So I said Sunday night, Coach. Friday night.
Just
Friday
excited
night,
for Sunday.
Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights. 7 p.m. And Pike Road Nation, Patriot Nation, we need you to show up. We need you to make the drive. You can pick up your tickets at GoFan. We're going to put the link up here for you right now. Buy your tickets. Drive up there. Support the Patriots. It's going to be a good, as Coach said, first test of the season with the full process in mind. So we want to show up, Patriot Nation. We want to cheer on the Patriots. But then we also need you to do something else, Patriot Nation. We need you, not right now, but when we wrap up our time, to go to YouTube and type in Pike Road Live. Coach, that's the name of our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And we are going for 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, Coach. We can do this.
Yes. Oh, yeah,
we
no
need
doubt.
everybody to participate, to share, and invite their friends. And, Coach, when we get 1,000 subscribers, that gives us the option of broadcasting the game for those who may not be able to make the trip.
Correct. And a lot of people, they're like, well, you lose money when you do that. And well, you really, really don't. People are going to come and do their thing anyway. What we're trying to do this for, and this obviously means a lot to a lot of people, but everyone's family can't come. You may have relatives. We have a couple dads who are serving overseas in the military. They won't make a game all year, and one of them son's a senior.
Wow.
But you know what? He'll be able to watch this every game. Whether it's grandparents, whether it's people at the nursing home, they can put this game on. One of them's already said something about, you know what I'm saying? Being able to put the game on, let people watch. A lot more than have a clue who that is. But just, it opens up a lot of doors. People are going to come. They're going to pay their money. So I don't get wigged out. Oh, we're going to lose money. No. This opens doors for people to be able to see their kids play, or maybe played here in the past and they're in college somewhere, want to keep up, still want to be part. All it does is make our community better.
That's right.
We're not losing anything by this. So to reiterate what Adam said, go to YouTube. It's Pike Road Live.
That's right.
Yeah, Pike Road Live. And hit subscribe button. I feel like one of them YouTubers now. Hit subscribe, hit like on my video. But seriously, we need to get to 1,000.
And then let everybody on social media know you did it. Invite them to do the same. Let's get to 1,000 for what Coach said for those folks that can watch the game, because that's inspiring to relatives overseas serving, give them the opportunity to serve. So let's make sure that we do that, Patriot Nation. And then, Coach, thanks for today. This has been a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing this each week, and looking forward to getting to hear more from you as we get going further along in the season. So thank you for your time
Adam,
today, Coach.
I appreciate y'all, what you do in our community and taking the time to let us come in and do this, because this is fun. I love this, and now I get to say I did a podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, I get to rub it in my wife's face. You've never done a podcast? She's probably done 100 of them, but I like she hadn't.
Well, thank you so much, Coach.
Adam, I appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you. And
Go
thank all of you
Patriots
for joining us.
Hey, thank all y'all out there. Is that the green room?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what we call it? I don't
That's
know
right.
what we call it.
And I want to thank our viewers, Coach, for joining us. The Brantley Bank Coaches Show, hosted by Vaughn Force. Go Patriots.
Go Patriots.